pituitary gland. Now let's go into that science real fast. The pineal gland is the master gland of the body. It's absolute fact that so-called white people or the recessive is 80% calcified pineal gland. Anybody could look this up. Now then we also got to go, well, I'm not even going to go into that. I don't want to branch into too many things, but let's stick to this now. If the pineal gland is the master and masculine gland of the body, its feminine and polarity gland is the pituitary. Now let's think about what the pituitary does. The pituitary controls hormonal aspects of the body. The pituitary controls your arousal aspect, what you find attractive, love, hate, so on and so forth, aggression, all the things dealing with the hormonal aspect the pituitary controls. Now, let's break it down. If the pineal gland is the master gland of the body, controlling all other glands and mechanisms of the body, and the pineal is completely calcified by the time they hit puberty, what happens to the pituitary that coincide or cooperates with the pineal gland? Is it going to be functioning at full capacity? Because the pineal gland is destroyed and the pineal gland gives the order. So if the pineal is destroyed, what can we assume about the pituitary? It becomes dysfunctioned. Now, if the pituitary becomes dysfunctioned, and we know that pituitary controls your emotions and your hormone, what is dysfunctional in white people? They seem to have things like, I'm bisexual, I'm trisexual, whoa, wait a second. You'll try anything. You see what I mean? Yeah. See, this is why they can have sex with animals and get aroused. They can have sex with man or woman and be aroused. And they can have sex with children and be aroused. You know why? Because the pituitary is now functioning to its highest capacity because the pineal gland is calcified by the time they hit puberty. Okay. So if your pineal gland is destroyed by the time you hit 10, 11, 12, then that means you have a decade to decades of that destruction of pineal gland for the pituitary to run rampant. And it to not organize and to not regulate the hormonal aspects of your human or humanoid body as a white person. This is why you can be gay tomorrow and straight the next. This is why you can get up. You got to think, we have to think about this. First and foremost, let's talk about men alone. In order for a man to penetrate a fucking pig, goat, donkey, woman, child, whatever the hell it is, he has to be erect. In order for him to be erect, he has to be aroused. In order for him to be aroused, his pituitary has to stimulate the hormone that sends the blood to his penis to become erect. What am I saying? I'm saying if they can look at a child, look at a goat, look at an animal, and become erect and aroused by that, that means their pituitary is working in a dysfunctional way, allowing it to activate and stimulate the hormones to bring that erection to do something that's against nature. Their shit is dysfunctional. Yeah. There is no depictions in all of world history, and I dare anybody to test this, no depictions in all of world history of a black man or black woman, not talking about mixtures, and we could even go into mixtures because I know this, you still don't even see mixtures, fucking animals. You don't see it. It's true. Why is that? Because we're perfect? No. It's because our pineal gland is always working and actually becomes more fully capable as we become older. Now, don't get it twisted. They are calcifying our pineal gland as we speak. Fluoride does that. 100% of the foods we eat does that. The air we breathe in, chemtrails, all of this shit, it calcifies your pineal gland. I can also go into a lot of different aspects due to our lifestyles, overworking, 40 hours, double shifts, because the pineal gland stimulates itself during sleep, during nighttime. And the problem is a lot of us are either at the club at night or we're working double shifts. So a lot of us do have calcified pineal gland, but it will never be as calcified as theirs because remember, their pineal gland becomes completely destroyed by the time they reach puberty. Okay. Our pineal gland has to be destroyed by our actions. Theirs by nature is gone. They don't have to drink fluoride water to destroy their shit. Their shit is just destroyed from puberty. This is absolute facts. It can be researched. All you got to do is type in white calcified pineal gland, so on and so forth. And they will show you that studies have been done. As a matter of fact, to even cement this fact, Before they started doing autopsies, now they went into this on Hidden Colors. Before they started doing autopsies on black men and black soldiers from Vietnam, they thought the pineal gland was a vestigial organ, that it had no use. You know why they thought it had no use? Because in all the white people they studied, it was dead. So in their mind, remember, in the recessive's mind, he equates himself with you. So he goes, we all came from monkeys. No, you came from a monkey. He goes, well, there was no human beings on Earth past so-and-so time. No, you wasn't here past so-and-so time. You see what I'm saying? In his medical establishment, he judges and dictates things by the white male body. He doesn't judge and dictate them by the levels of melanin. He judges and dictates them by the lack of melanin. So when he talks about your blood pressure, your sickness, your this, your that, Laila Africa breaks all of this down. He's another master teacher of health. He breaks all of this down. He's judging you by a white man's standard. So when he says you're healthy, you're sick. And when he says you're sick, you're twice as sick. Because he's not adding in the aspect of your melanin grade, because each race has a different melanin grade. Bottom line, the basis of the concepts and our perceptions that we follow today have European foundations. We must destroy these foundations and build foundations based off our indigenous minds and the practices that we follow within. Let's go back to an indigenous aspect. Let's talk about Ma'at. Ma'at is a goddess who gave forth and gave the so-called principles and laws of justice. Within those 7 principles, there's no love. I'll give them to you now. Reciprocity. What I give you, you give me back. Order. Harmony, justice, balance, what's the other 2? Righteousness, and there's one more. I'm usually always missing one more, but order, justice, balance, harmony, righteousness, reciprocity, and oh man. But anyway, let's not waste too much time. But you get my point. None of them is love. That's true. Her polarity, who's Jehudi, her husband, he gives you the 7 laws. The 7 laws is mind, everything is mental. Correspondence as above and below. As we know, gender and polarity, those are 2. Vibration, rhythm, and cause and effect. Love ain't there either. Okay? So these were the foundations we stood on in our indigenous culture. Love is a byproduct of following these things. It's not the thing that comes first. You see, and love is a pure emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. You see what I'm saying? So when people throw this, we need to love each other. We've been trying to love these motherfuckers for centuries, man. As a matter of fact, since we're on the subject, I would love to bring up the absolute historical fact, and anybody listen to this, leave a comment or anything you want to prove me wrong. We've had the NOI, Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad teaching that the white man is the devil. That was his teaching. The white man is the devil. Before him, we had the Moorish Temple of Science with Noble Drew Ali teaching that the white man is the devil as well. After Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm came teaching the white man is the devil again. The Black Panthers was an organization created to protect themselves against white men who are the devil. We've had numerous organizations built to strong aspects of men willing to fight and die for these organizations. Can anybody name me one time in the history of 100 years of these organizations where white people were attacked from the hate of black people? Can anybody name me one time where a white town or a white home was burnt to the ground from the hate of black people? Can anybody name me? I'm talking one. Just give me one. Brother, we are talking about organizations that teach the white man is the devil. There should be hundreds of dudes trying to go kill white people because he's the devil, right? But what stopped us? What made us only care about black preservation, black protection, black and unity and so-called love, but never attack white people? What is that in us? It's called humanity. It's called an active pineal gland, which allows the pituitary to work within balance with it. because we do not have a genocidal bone in our body. See, there's a difference between defending yourself and attacking. See, they attack with no reason. They attack with no justifiable aspect or standard. See, just like any animal, they attack in a survival aspect. See, we are not animals. We are the higher kingdom, which is the Hueman kingdom. You see what I'm saying? Think about that, brother. All of our history, we never committed genocide on them. As a matter of fact, in the history of Europe, when they were going through their own genocidal lifestyles and lifestyle of dying from disease and becoming extinct themselves, who came in there, washed their ass, brought them to health, and raised their civilization? We did. We had endless times to commit genocide. I can even go into the time of King Narmer and the unification of Upper and Lower Kemet, and the times where they were fighting the Asiatic hordes, building walls around the kingdom and giving them provinces. One of them today is Libya, giving them provinces around the kingdom to stay, live, and be anything they wanted. But they just didn't allow them in the kingdom. We could have slaughtered them. We could have killed them. We don't possess a genocidal aspect to us. They do. See, genocide is against nature. Well, let's break down the word genocide. We're talking about the destruction of the gene. Gen is gene or generation. We're talking about the destruction of generations. They're genocidal. They commit genocide against you every single day. We can go into eugenics, which was yesterday. That wasn't thousands of years ago. That was yesterday, all right? Where they was literally sterilizing people without them even knowing it. Where they was literally causing the destruction and castration of men and the sterilization of women. We can even go into the so-called Tuskegee experiments where they were injecting us with all forms of syphilis and all for us to bring back to see, I don't like to talk about too much because my energy goes completely down. But just think of the mind of what I just said. White doctors were advertising the concept of bad blood and for Negroes to come in so they can fix their bad blood while having the alternative motive of injecting them with diseases. Can we just take a second to understand the mentality and the inhumane aspect that has to be possessed by the individual who chooses to be involved with this? Think about that. You're purposely injecting groups of people to spread disease back into their community by giving them the false assumption that you're there to help them. I don't think there's any level more sick and treacherous than that. What's more treacherous than that? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Mind you, Tuskegee experiments went on, documented all the way up to the 80s and early 90s. So what are we really saying? Those same doctors are walking around today and probably still practicing. Those same people, white men and white women, have children today. This mindset and this genetic aspect is passed on. This is why it's so important when they hear me talk about separation and self-preservation of the genetics, and then these idiots want to call it hate. We're talking self-preservation. Because when I mix my genetics with a lower form of a diluted form of genetics itself, I dilute the next generation that comes forth from me. Therefore, I lower that generation's frequency. This is just absolute fact. This is not nothing to do with hate, man. You see, if I am a healthy vegan and I form a relationship with a crackhead, is my frequency or my health going to go higher or lower as living amongst and sharing a home with a dysfunctional crackhead who's against health? Pituitary gland. Now let's go into that science real fast. The pineal gland is the master gland of the body. It's absolute fact